Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain you debouncing and throttling through the easy example. So debouncing and throttling both are used for function optimization and limiting the rate of execution of a function call. So here first we'll start with debouncing. So here if you are going to type inside the search box anything, so what is happening, each and every letter when you are typing, it is going to come in the console. Think that this is happening, that it is going to call the API in that manner, that each and every letter you are typing and you go at the API call or the network call and you are fetching the data from the database, right? So it is going to degrade the performance of your website. So what we want, when we are going to type any word, say if I'm going to looking for a shoe, so if I'm typing shoes, so that time not whole of them, means each and every letter should not call the API. If we are going to type the shoe, and then after that user is going to pause for a minute, and that pause in a minute or a time limit, any time limit we are going to give, and that after that only, after getting that word only, it will go and fetch the API, fetch the data from the database, right? This is we want through the debouncing, right? The debouncing is basically used for searching purpose, right? So here see, I have taken one example. So I have created one index.html. In the index.html script, index.js is there, and there is a search, there is an input type text, and on key up I am calling this function debounce function, right? So right now it's a simple function, and every key release this function is going to call, right? So now I'm going to convert this function in a debounce function. See, this line number 2, I am just getting the text input, whatever I am writing, I want that value, so I am just using the DOM element here and then getting the value in the console.log. But now I want to use the debounce function, right? So what I'll do, I want this line number 5 should be executed after a 1 second, after typing of a letter of 1 second, right? So what I do, I'll put it in the set timeout, right? Since set timeout required a callback function, so I'm using a callback function here, and I'm limiting the time 1 second, right? And now this function we want to control the set timeout. So what I put, I make one variable, let timer, and using this timer I'm just putting this set timeout inside the timer, right? So now what we want in less than 1 second, if you are releasing the key, the set timeout should be cleared, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear the timeout, right? So now think, so there is a timer, right? And this timer is going to get the value from this set timeout function. So say if person is typing something and releasing the key in less than 1 second, then this will be clear the timeout, right? So now let's see whether it's working or not. So what I'm doing, I'm going to write shoe. Now see, there is no function call. After 1 second when happened, then only the shoe is printed, right? So say now I have removed it and releasing the key, then this function is called, right? So now if I want to search something for say mouse, so after typing whole mouse and after 1 second, I'm getting the result of mouse, and this is going to go in the API call and going to get us the result, right? Now let's see the throttling example. So actually debouncing is depend on the user, right? How when user is typing, right? But throttling is used when after a certain amount of time will be rerun, the function is going to rerun, right? It will not depend on the user, it will not depend on the user, right? Right, so say I'm going to show you through the example for the throttling. So here what I do, I'm just going to resize my window size. Right. So right now I'm just creating a simple function, and it's going to call console.log. Right. So I'm just going to get the screen width and height. Right. So now see, if I'm going to resize my window, I'm getting this, the size of the window 120 and 720. So if I'm going to resize my window again, see how many times, the 35 times this function has been called. This we don't want. We want, if a it should be like, if your person is keep doing the same thing again and again, it should not going to call the function again and again, right? At a particular amount of time that function should call, right? So that is throttling. Throttling is not going to always all the time depend on the user. Yeah, when the user is going to resize the window, then only it should happen. But if the user doing again and again and then pausing, and then it should not happen. At a particular amount of that time the function should be called, that we want through the throttling, right? So here what I'll do, I'll use the flag, right? So I'll use let flag, and I'm keeping it true, right? I'll explain you that why I'm keeping true right now, and I'm just putting this line number 13 which we want to execute inside the if condition. So if the flag is true, then only this function should call, right? This line should be executed, line number 13. Right. So now what I want, that after executing this line, I'll make this flag false. Right. And now I'll put the set timeout. And then this set timeout say I want to execute this line number 13 after 2 seconds, right? So I'm writing in the set timeout 2000, right? And now inside it I'm making this flag true. Right. So now what will happen? This will be depend on this flag, right? So if the flag is true, then this line number 13 is going to execute. But when this flag is going to true after 2 seconds, whether the person is keep resizing the size of the window, but after 2 seconds only it will going to execute the line number 13, otherwise not. See, so I'm just okay. Let me rewrite my spelling. Okay. So now if I'm resizing it, so it is not executed, it will not going to execute so many times. It will going to execute after 2 seconds only, even if I'm doing again and again. See, it just executed 4 times. Right? It just executed 4 times. So this is debouncing and throttling.